John Doe strikes again. Just days after delaying the release of the list of unindicted co-conspirators in the case that riveted the nation, the closure of the George Washington Bridge, for what prosecutors say were political motives at the behest of Governor Christie's administration, the list is going to be delayed once again as the Third Circuit Court of Appeals steps in to hear the case of a man known only as John Doe, an unnamed, unidentified co-conspirator in the case who's asked to have the list remain secret for the time being. John Doe first entered the scene at the last minute after a judge had decided to release the names of the unindicted co-conspirators to a group of media organizations after they had mounted a successful lawsuit. But now there's been a stop in the process, and the names will be sealed until at least June 6th, which is when the Third Circuit Court of Appeals will hear the case. At this point, we don't even know if that case is going to be public. By tomorrow, the parties in the case have to submit letters to the Third Circuit saying whether or not they want the hearing to be open to the press and open to the public. It could be closed. There's a lot more sealed stuff going on behind the scenes. We don't know who the list of unindicted co-conspirators are, so I talked to former Assistant U.S. Attorney Fred Tecce to just kind of give me an idea of how unindicted co-conspirators fit into federal cases.
Oftentimes what the government does is they include co-conspirators in the charge so they can say to the judge, look, under the rules, conversations between co-conspirators are not hearsay. We've identified these people specifically in the indictment as conspirators, and therefore the testimony should come in.
I also asked Fred, is it common for a list of unindicted co-conspirators to come out?
Quite frankly, no. I've never seen this ever. So I'd be curious to see what happens.
So we wonder, could Governor Christie be on the list? Christie says he doesn't believe that he's on it. Could other members of his administration be on this list? And what would it mean if they were to be named? Unindicted co-conspirators, of course, were not charged with a crime. But Bill, what do you think? Is it a damage to someone's reputation to be on the list? And should that be public?
Torn. On one side, you're talking about government, abuse of power, and it's very serious. So I am okay with knowing who some of these characters are, especially in light of what the U.S. Attorney said when he said, look, we had an awful lot of evidence, but just not enough to get everybody. That being said, the guy that had one little misstep that may or may not have been involved ends up on the list, and now you're comparing the guy that had 99% evidence against him versus the 1%. Unfair. However, here's my question. I thought that the U.S. Attorney's practice was to call people and let them know, hey, you're on this list. So doesn't that mean Governor Christie, if he was on the list, would have gotten a call?
Yes, that does mean that. If he was on the list, he or his legal representatives would have gotten a call.
So why not just say no?
Well, that's a very good point.
And I don't think he's on the list, but why not say no?
And I asked his staff to clarify that yesterday. In a statement, they said no, and the governor hasn't taken questions at his events over the past few days.
Is John Doe Governor Christie?
How should I know?